Welcome to Live Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. Our family had another mountaintop experience last week. We welcome into our world our second grandchild, a little boy who has captured our hearts completely. We are overwhelmed with love. We took care of our grandson Arva while his mom and dad stayed in the hospital with baby Ralph. After going to the hospital to meet baby Ralph, we took big brother Arva downtown to the toy store to buy a present for the baby. At only 4.5, Arva was excited to show us the way to the toy store. While we were walking down the street, he said we had to look for a yellow door. We told him we were amazed he knew the way. Arva replied, I know my town. Hmm, that sentence, I know my town, was telling us he felt at home. It made me wonder about the concept of home, that feeling of home. If you took typing or keyboarding in school, you may remember calling the middle row of letters the home row. It was from that spot from which we anchored our fingers and navigated the keyboard. Or if you are a baseball fan, there is always that sense of accomplishment just thinking of a batter running toward home. Sometimes it is not a place, like your childhood home or your home today. Sometimes home is the feeling associated with being comfortable, safe, and transparent. For some, the word home may not conjure up the warm memories or feelings because it represents a place of trauma or abuse. But we somehow instinctively know that the concept home is a place that we want to be our anchor, a place where we belong, a place of safety and comfort. So, let me ask you right now, where do you feel at home? What kind of situations do you ever find yourself in where you get that feeling of home, representing a safety or warm belonging or anchor? And here's the question that really nudged me this week. With whom do you feel at home? I think about that one a lot. I have a theory about people. Some people are Velcro people, meaning when you are with them, even when you just meet them, from the first words in a conversation, you feel like you can stick. You can discuss, share, and enjoy being with that person. And some people I call silk. There is nothing to stick to, like with Velcro people. The silk people keep themselves shut, and you cannot get past the shallow layer of conversation. Silk people hold in. They don't give you anything to connect to because perhaps they have fear inside of being seen. So, which one are you? Are you Velcro or silk? Are you open enough, brave enough, accepting enough for people to feel at home when they are with you? If you are one who holds back because you fear being hurt or seen, or because you have been hurt, becoming a Velcro person, which ironically starts with the same letter as vulnerable, can take effort. Recently, I read an article talking about the change as taking the unfamiliar path. It's harder, the article said. It went on to say that, as any athlete will tell you, growth happens because of resistance. Iron sharpens iron. Comfort is the enemy. But the good news is, each challenge makes you stronger. The same thing with becoming Velcro. I recently gave a talk on becoming a welcoming spirit at our church. My good friend Judy Clayton gave me permission to share her story. Judy is the most vivacious and loving person. She's an icon of warmth and welcome. However, she told me she wasn't always that way. Because of some difficult times growing up in her past, she wouldn't let people in to get close. To compensate for her pain, she poured herself into her work and career. But she didn't want to stay in that life. She wanted to connect with people, to be seen and heard, and to know them. By joining a very special church and some groups within it, she found the courage to open up and become the person she wanted to be. Now she says, I feel joy, and I want everyone to feel that. Judy is a person with whom anyone can feel at home. What makes a person the kind that one would want to and can feel at home with? I believe it starts with our face. There's a story about President Thomas Jefferson coming to a river that he and his fellow riders would have to cross on horseback. There was a man at the river who looked up at Jefferson and asked if he could get a ride across the river with him on his horse. The president said, "Sure." When they had crossed the river, one of Jefferson's men asked the rider why he had asked the president for a ride. The man replied, "Well, at the time I did not know he was the president, but I do know that on some people's face you can see the word yes, and some always have the word no. His had the word yes." Hmm. Arva became familiar with his town by observing, seeing, and then recognizing it. Perhaps we can do the same with people. By looking beyond our fear to see them, we can become home for those we meet. We have the welcome mat on our face. It's called a smile. We just have to add the love and vulnerability. This week, on your bathroom mirror, write, "May I live so others feel at home with me." Join me next Monday for Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.